Hey y'all, hey, it is me, it is your girl Nurse T, and if you have not already, what are you waiting for? Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, follow your girl for more nursing information. So this video is a video relating to my newbies, my aspiring nurses, or my nurses that have been nurses for years and a day. Anyways, I wanted to make this video because there was a question that was asked to me by a new nurse. So this is a dilemma between PCA, nurse assistant, nurse aide, wherever you work at, whatever your facility may label them. We have a new nurse. And also feel free, if you're an experienced nurse, if you're a new nurse, or if you're anybody in the healthcare field who have experienced this, share in the comments down below. But more so, new nurses or nurses in general, how have your experience been working alongside with nurse assistants, or shall I say nurse assistants, PCAs, PCTs, nurse aides? All words are used interchangeably. So there was once a new nurse that came to me and asked, how do you make things work between you and the patient care assistant? So there's a situation going on where you have the nurse who have been taught all throughout nursing school to delegate. So we delegate as registered nurses or LVNs. We delegate to the nurse assistants, the patient care assistants, the patient care technicians. Again, all those words are used interchangeably, but for the sake of this video, we're just going to say nurse assistants. So if you have a registered nurse or nurse in general who's working alongside with a nurse assistant, and there has been times when delegation has been involved, and if let's just use an example, you have a new patient coming and you're trying to set up your room, but you as a nurse, you probably need to go give medication to room A. You might need to go see what's going on with chest pain in room B, and you probably have a family member calling you about room C. So all in all, you're getting ready to experience your fourth admission with room D, but you need the room to be set up. So you have delegated the task to the nurse assistant to bring in the new admission items, such as a toothbrush, toothpaste, emesis bin, I would say a urinal if it's a male, or a hat, what we call a hat if it's a female, so that they can document urinary output. Okay, what do you do in situations where you have the CNA tell you, well, you know what to do, you do it. You know what the new patient needs, you do it. So I would say numerous times this particular nurse has experienced this issue, not with just all of the nurse assistant, but mainly this one particular nurse assistant who feels that, I've been on this unit for years. This is what I take from it with experienced nurse assistants who've been on units for years, and sometimes it's just kind of hard to take direction or delegation from new nurses that are constantly coming onto your unit, and you feel as if they are asking you to do tasks that themselves are able to do. So in that situation, again, you have the nurse who have delegated a task to the nurse assistant, and the nurse assistant on numerous accounts have demanded that the nurse do it herself. So if you're not familiar, as nurses, we are taught in nursing school to delegate tasks to relieve you of certain duties so that you can prioritize your workload, prioritize the patients that you have to give medical care for which are not within the scope of practice of the certified nurse assistant. So with this situation, I was asked of my opinion. So with me giving my opinion, first I examine the situation. There's different ways you can look at it. And with my experience of being a registered nurse and working alongside nurse assistants, I have seen countless times where you do at times have nurses who are delegating tasks. Meanwhile, they are probably sitting down at the computer, maybe look like they're shopping on Amazon or on their phone. And when something comes up, they're quick to delegate a task. Now, from a certified nursing assistant standpoint, you can come off as if you're just bossing them around. But in reality, we must all remember that, yes, we do work together. So what I do personally is I definitely do delegate. And at the beginning of my nursing career, I did find it a little awkward to an extent to delegate tasks that I know that I can do, until I got to the point where my nursing tasks were getting the best of me and I had no choice but to delegate. So I didn't want to come off as a person that asks other people to do something that I know, oh, I can go grab a urinal, oh, I can go grab the vital machine, oh, I can grab. But if you do that enough, you too will be slow behind on your required tasks that only you as the registered nurse can do, and tasks that the nurse assistant cannot do. So, and at the end of the day, you find yourself swamped, worn out, and overworked. So yes, we do have to utilize the ability to delegate tasks. So what I like to also do as an experienced registered nurse on both ends, I've also been on the CNA side and I've been on the nursing side longer than the CNA side. So I comfortably delegate tasks, but I comfortably do so because I know that when I actually have time to grab those items, which are always and sometimes overly delegated to CNAs, I normally would grab them myself. So I usually work under the impression that when I call you, it's because I actually need your help. So I am a very self-sufficient nurse. If there's some things that I can do, I would do it. If I'm in my patient room giving meds and the patient say, hey, Nurse T, I need my diaper change. Can you call the CNA? So even patients to this day, they're all kind of hip to who does what and who they should not call versus who they should call. But I, again, like I said, I've been on both ends of the of the bedside. So I know as far what both ends and roles as far as in CNA and registered nurse. So I do know that CNAs are pretty much overworked. At times, I mean, you might look at the note at the loads and the ratio. You have a nurse that might have a ratio in the hospital of perhaps 5 to 6 patients, versus a CNA who might have a load of 12 patients. But again, the tasks are totally different. And sometimes, even if you have 4 patients as a registered nurse, the acuity of the patient can overpower the fact that she only has 4 patients. And sometimes it's just that one patient you might have that can literally take up your whole day. It depends on the acuity of the patient. So if I'm in a patient room and a patient say, hey, Nurse T, can you call my nurse assistant so that I can get my diaper change? If I'm in there giving meds and I'm looking good on time, or whether I'm looking good on time or not, if the supplies are already in the room, I use that time to go ahead and I'll perform the task. And I'll say, oh, well, let me go ahead and help you with this. I'm sure the CNA is probably handling 11 other rooms or vice versa, whatever. But at times when I'm not able to do it, then again, I will call the CNA and say, hey, I'm in the room. The patient needs a diaper change. If you go ahead and grab the stuff, I can help you change the diaper. CNAs would definitely appreciate you for that. And sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And sometimes with certain cultures, we can come off as being a bit assertive, demanding, and a bit bossy. So, with me being a registered nurse, again, I talk to people how I want them to talk to me, and I treat people how I want them to treat me. And again, at times, yes, you do have to delegate. You definitely have to delegate. But some things can be a simple extra minute or two in a room and go above and beyond and perform that simple task. So times like that, when I do show that, hey, it's not just about you doing everything. I jump in, I do the dirty work. We're all, at the end of the day, CNAs are there to help us and relieve our load. Whether they there or not, it still must be done. If a family member come into the room and see, oh, my mother's been sitting in stool and has defecated on herself and has not been changed, she's not going to go call for the nurse assistant. She's going to come charge at the nurse. She's going to say, I need the nurse. And you as the nurse, when you're facing the family member and that family member say, why has my mother been sitting in stool and have called over 3 times? And your response is, well, I called the nurse assistant and I guess she's delayed. They don't want to hear that. That is a sound of neglect. And if they take you to the board of nursing, at the end of the day, you have to protect your license. Now, I know we might all have different inputs on how to handle this story or this situation. Again, if you're an experienced nurse or if you currently work in nurse, whether you're a nurse assistant or a nurse a nurse, leave a comment down below. Have you experienced this and how would you have handled this? So again, I just wanted to come on here because I know sometimes there's friction between nurses and CNAs, and I just wanted to bring this thought up. And so some of you new nurses that are getting ready to enter into the field, if you come across this video, go ahead and give your girl a subscription so that you can follow me along your journey before you become a nurse, so you can stay in tune with the latest on how to handle certain situations. But yeah, if you are an experienced nurse, a new grad, a nurse assistant, nurse tech, anything, or if you work in a long-term care facility, whatever facility you is, and you've experienced this encounter, leave a comment down below, share with us. Let's get the comments going and let's talk, let's chat. Again, if you haven't already, go ahead and click that like button if you like the video. And if you feel like this video resonated with you, go ahead and place a heart in a comment and let me know down below, how did you handle this situation? And again, if you've experienced this a number of times or just in general with the same person, I think it should be escalated, because we don't want drama in the workplace and we don't want to work under friction when you have to see the same person. So if it's not a issue that can be resolved amongst the two of you, then I do think you have to escalate, perhaps get the charge nurse involved, get management involved to see what's going on. Maybe they need to, have a sit down talk amongst the three and, come to a common ground to how we can all take care of the patient, which is the center of the care from the beginning. All right, as always, stay in touch, stay tuned for the next video, and I look forward to seeing y'all in the next one. Bye.